Hello guys, hello YouTubers, Joe Kersey here on March 30th, 2014, about 4:45 in the afternoon, Eastern Daylight Time. Now check this out, you got this, it's little proto leaf starting to form on our smooth bark hickory here, you know. This has happened just since this morning. Now check out the red sort of early buds on the maple trees. That's also happened here just since this morning. So this has been happening just today. I love it. I love it. We had a bit of we had a couple of limbs down here last night. I mean, I didn't think it was all that windy, but obviously it was. You can see there's a little limb there by the trailer, and then we had a limb down there sort of in the front of the house there that had fallen down from this dead tree, which at some point I need to probably get taken out. Alright. Well, we're out here on the back porch now. And I just got done with a magnificent visit from my son, Thomas. I had no sooner walked in from church about 10 to 1. Then he called. He said he's going to come up for a while. I said, that's great. And so he came up, and we shot the breeze till just about now, and we discussed several things. We discussed some issues similar to the grading issues I had alluded to in an earlier video. We discussed excuse me, his mother's search for a pardon me, a more suitable place to live, a single floor plan place to live rather than the two-story place she's got now. So a lot of talking about well, stuff that I can't really get into, but nothing sinister. Just decision making that happens when you're trying to figure out where this is the best place you need to land up in terms of your employment, that sort of thing. How to deal with bad situations in your employment, that sort of thing. We've all been there, I'm sure. Well, anybody who's had a job for longer than about 2 weeks has been there, that's for sure. Okay. Well, today, of course, I went to church, and it was Ute Sunday, and the Utes didn't do a bad job, since we have a pretty good crop of Utes, and the only egregious, and I'm trying to moderate my words here, the only egregious part of today's service was the fact that our rector chose to read the Gospel of John, you know, the healing of the blind man in chapter 9 of John. he chose to read the quote version, unquote version from this Peterson fellow's, paraphrase of the Bible, or the New Testament at any rate, called The Message. This ranks only slightly, I don't know, you rank it slightly higher or lower than the egregious Good News Bible. The Good News Bible, as near as I can tell, doesn't necessarily add words to the text. It wanders into doing that, but not as overtly as The Message does. This guy just adds stuff to the Greek text. I mean, the standard translations are actual translations. They're not literal word for word translations, but they're translations. They don't stick in extra phrases. They don't stick in an explanatory phrase. They don't stick in an idiomatic, modern idiomatic slang phrase. Unlike The Message. Now, I have no idea what possessed this man to do this. Did he have a stroke? He was in Florida. Maybe the sun got to him. I have no idea why he chose to do this. It takes my breath away. Well, I'll tell you, if my pew mate, she and I call each other my pew mate. She's 93, and we always sit there. My pew buddy. We call each other our pew buddy. If she hadn't been there, where I had to climb out over, I'd have gotten up and left. Because see, the Word of God is the Word of God, and don't add to it. I mean, the one of the very last sentences in Revelation is, don't add to this. Don't stick your own stuff into it. It's just sad when otherwise very intelligent people do this kind of stuff. Well, so anyway, he plowed through this awful thing. I had my King James version, my authorized version Bible open in my hand. I was reading it as he went along, so I was actually getting, an actual version of the Word. I actually was getting the message, whereas the other people weren't. Much to my donkey show theory of the Episcopal Church, people, stood there and sat there and took it and didn't say anything. My donkey show theory of the Episcopal Church is this. If the rector came in and put on one of these Tijuana donkey shows, and those of you who don't know what that is, I'm not going to tell you. And those of you who do know what it is, you know what it is. That's a tautology, guys. If the congregations that the rector had sanctioned it, they'd sit there as if they were poleaxed and watch that donkey doing whatever it does to the woman. There is very little critical thought that goes on in the U.S. Episcopal Church in a congregation on any given Sunday. That's the truth. And that's awful. That's terrible. That's horrible. That's egregious. That's outrageous. It's sad. And it's wrong. Now, having said that, I have a bit of good news. Our rector said to me, I want to run something by the liturgical police. Well, I don't view myself as the liturgical police. I just view myself as me, being me, worshiping God. And, you know, as you know, last year, those of you who have looked at my videos, I waxed long and large over the fact that we did not have an Easter Vigil. And he says, well, this year, he talked to a couple of other congregations that are doing this little thing. It's called a People's Vigil. Well, I mean, that makes it sound like some sort of, you know, Leninist, Stalinist, you know, clenched fist in the air thing. And but what it amounts to is you instead of going into church, you do it like the older vigils. You do it like the older, even beyond the medieval, you know, even before the medieval church vigils. You do it outdoors. You have a fire. You light, you know, the new light. The new light shines in the world, and you do the readings, and you maintain, you know, the vigil until the tomb opens. And I don't know whether he intends then, when after the, you know, you reach the point where supposedly the tomb opens and, you know, we go into the church and have a standard Eucharist, or we can do it outside. I don't know how he plans to do that, but I said, I think that's a great idea. I think that's a tremendous idea. First of all, you're having a vigil. That's good. In and of itself, you know. And it sounds like it's going to have a lot more content than the old vigil did. Actually, we really did 4 readings. We're going to do all the readings, maybe. He says, if people want to do all the readings, we can do all the readings. I said, great. I think if he does this repeatedly over years and makes it known in the town, notice I didn't say the word community, makes it known in the town, you might be able to get a fair amount of, you know, a fair number of people willing to come to this. First of all, just see what it's all about. Since Delaware is sort of one of those towns where you've got a lot of people who are willing to do that. And you might get some people coming to church. So I think that's a good idea. I think that's a great idea. So hope that works out well. Unfortunately, we got also the Holy Week schedule, which is fine. I mean, it's the, you know, he's got the preaching schedule, and that's great. But unfortunately, we have the stomping, romping, loud, jizzy-jazzy, massive, so-called gospel choir crowd coming in for Good Friday. Which, you know, that's, you know, look, guys, there are churches where that tradition and that way of doing Good Friday is absolutely fine. I have no problem with that if they want to do that in their own church. But this is not. This is not what is appropriate, certainly for me. You know, I really can't generalize. I didn't feel it was right to grind that axe last year with people to see what they thought. So I don't know. So I'm ignorant in that. I can't speak to that issue. But I won't be able to go to Good Friday service. I will not be able to go to Good Friday service this year. Well, at St. Peter's. Maybe I can go somewhere else. I'll go to the ecumenical crosswalk thing there at noon, but it's so disappointing. It's so disappointing that you get sort of cheated out of that experience. But well, I guess he's come halfway anyway. So. In the end, though, it doesn't matter, guys. It's all just pro forma. You know, I mean, the real substance is not what goes on in what I'm talking about. It goes on in here, doesn't it? It goes on in here and here. Heart and soul, mind and spirit. That's where it goes on. Add a little water and fire and blood. There you go. All righty now. Bye-bye.